Hi Beatle people, welcome back to A Beatleful Life. So today's video is going to be my top 5 favorite scenes from A Hard Day's Night. You can see I have my Hard Day's Night shirt on. So this video is actually a collab with another Beatles fan who makes YouTube videos. Her name is Sophie and her channel is called Let It Beatle, and she actually just started out. I'm going to leave her channel linked in the description, so make sure to check her out, and let's get started. Alright, so starting with number 5. My 5th favorite scene is the one that begins with the Beatles in their hotel room and they're getting a bunch of fan mail, and there's just some funny parts in that scene, like they're picking on Ringo and like how he snores, and then he gets a pile of fan mail and they say, oh, it must have cost you a fortune in stamps, Ringo. So there's some funny parts there, and then they go dancing at the club, and I really enjoy that scene because obviously there's some great music in there. And it reminds me of one of my favorite scenes from the first US Visit documentary when they are dancing in the Peppermint Lounge. So it's really just fun to see that, and then it cuts back and forth between them and Paul's grandfather's, you know, antics, gambling and all. And also John has some funny lines in there as well. Like Ringo gets invited to the gambling club and John says, it's gone around that you're a big spender. Alright, number 4. My 4th favorite scene is the one that begins with John in the bathtub and Ringo is simultaneously trying to teach Shake, I believe, how to shave, and he's spraying the shaving cream on the mirror, and then he starts shaving the mirror, and John meanwhile is like fooling around in the bathtub, splashing around, like pretending that the submarine is sinking and all that. And then from there they head to the press conference, and there's some great little jokes in there as well, and it's like it kind of mirrors obviously their behavior in actual press conferences, you know, fooling around and making like witty remarks and such, you know, how did you find America? Turn left at Greenland. What do you call the hairstyle you're wearing? Arthur. Do you often see your father? No, actually, we're just good friends. And of course there's the little gag in there as well with the host is like passing around the tray of appetizers, and every time someone goes to grab one, she'll lift it up and move on to somebody else before they can get it. Number 3 is the train scene, basically in the very beginning of the film when everyone is, you know, introduced and the first lines of dialogue occur, and you know, the running joke about Paul's grandfather being very clean. And then there's the funny interaction that they have with the passenger on the train, kind of getting in an argument about, you know, whether the window should be open or Ringo wants his radio playing music and the guy doesn't, and then they leave and they make their funny faces pressed against the window and they start running outside with the bicycle. Hey mister, can we have our ball back? Number 2 is the Can't Buy Me Love sequence. This is of course when they're running around in the fields, kind of, you know, having races and hopping and jumping and like dancing around. And I read that a body double was used for John in the really far away shots, like, you know, the aerial shots you could say, because I think at the time he was off promoting his book in his own right, so they had to use a body double. But for the close-ups, obviously John was there. But I really like that scene. Obviously a great song, and it's a really fun sequence to watch as well. And then, sorry we hurt your field, mister. And then number 1 is the concert at the end of the film. I'm sure this is a lot of people's favorite part, but obviously it's really cool to see the screaming fans in the audience, and, you know, all of them screaming and crying. And you know, of course, the great songs in there. You have pretty much a reprise of every song that was in the film plus a couple more, and then you get the shots like in the television studio, and of course Paul's grandfather pops up from the floor at the end as well. That's funny. And then he ends up getting handcuffed at the end. And I think there's a piece of trivia. I think like a young Phil Collins was one of the people in the audience during that sequence, and then they end with She Loves You, and then they fly away in the helicopter, and Paul's grandfather drops all of his autographed pictures that forged autographed pictures that he was trying to sell. But definitely overall the concert is my favorite part. So that is my top 5. I have to say there are so many scenes that I love in this movie because it is my favorite Beatles movie, but I don't think there's one that I dislike. So it was pretty hard to choose, but I would say right now those are my 5 favorite ones. Let me know in the comments what your favorites are. But that is going to do it for today's video. So I want to say thank you very much for watching. Once again, be sure to check out Sophie's channel, which I will have linked below. And be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more things like this. My social media and blog will be also linked below as always. And as always, have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.